Hey, this is Dana Wills, and I'm your food director here at Wake Forest Presbyterian Church. We are starting Dana's Dinners. This is our first week trying it out, and we are going to be making bruschetta chicken. Addie has requested that. And then we're also going to be making some Parmesan chicken and a salad. I'm also going to teach you how to cut a pepper easily without getting all the seeds everywhere. First, I want to show you the ingredients that you will need to buy at the grocery store. It's a very simple list. Some of this stuff you might already have at home. Don't get the powdered Parmesan cheese. Get the actual shredded Parmesan cheese that's either in the little containers or in the bags. This right here is our directions, and I'll be going over all these directions while we're doing this today. So what we're going to do first is we're going to start getting ready to cook, and we're going to try to do this in 30 to 35 minutes so you're not in the kitchen all night, and we'll go see if we can do it. I want you first, before we even get started, to turn your ovens on to 400, and we'll get started. The first thing you want to do is take some balsamic vinegar, and you need to do 1 cup. I don't have a small pot here. I wasn't thinking about that, so I'm going to do it in this frying pan, this small frying pan. Why we want to do this first is because it's going to take 20 minutes, and so we can be doing everything else while this is getting started. All you have to do is come over and put it on your stove. Put it on medium-high heat at the beginning until it starts boiling. And then what we'll do then is after it starts boiling, we'll just put it on a simmer. There are some balsamic glazes that you can buy at the grocery store, which you wouldn't have to do this part. I'm just making my own because it's half the price to do it this way. So we're just going to do this, and we're going to come back over here and do something else. Now we are going to do our chicken. Now this chicken is very thick, and it would take too long to cook. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut this in half to make it thinner. And you can buy the thinner cutlets at the store, but if you buy chicken breast like this, it's a lot cheaper, and all you have to do is cut it in half. That's all you have to do. So I'm cutting this in half to make it thinner. And you need about 1 to 1.5 pounds of chicken for a family of 4. And so I've got that cut up. Then what you're going to do is you're going to put this chicken into the bag, and you're going to put 2 teaspoons of seasoning salt. Now, so you just put 2 teaspoons of seasoning salt in there, and you're going to close up the bag, get a little bit of the air out, and close the bag. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this, and we're going to mix all this seasoning up all around it. And we are just going to let this sit for a few minutes so the seasoning can get into the chicken. And then after we do that, we are going to start making our bruschetta. So I got that. I'm going to go over to my stove and lower my heat because it's already boiling, because it's in a frying pan rather than a pot. And we will go on to our next step. Thanks. Okay, so I'm going to take these 4 tomatoes that I bought, and I'm just going to slice them up just like this. There's no need to seed a bruschetta recipe. You just use the whole tomato. Okay, and then I have this little bowl right here that I put all my extra little pieces of the part that I don't want to use, so I can put it in the compost. Now I'm using beefsteak tomatoes. You can use any kind you want. Now if you use cherry tomatoes or Roma tomatoes, it's going to make it a sweeter sauce. I kind of more like the sauce like in a spaghetti type of sauce more, that it's not so sweet. We are going to, however, add a little tiny bit of sugar to this, only because it is beefsteak tomatoes. Now you want to cut up these tomatoes pretty small because it's a bruschetta, and if we make them too big, they're not going to cook like they need to cook. If you wanted to do this the day before, you could, because that's what I did when we had bruschetta chicken on Wednesday night dinners last year. That way all the flavors could meld. We had 200 and some people that night. It was a great night. I can't wait for that to happen again. Now it seems like it's a lot of tomatoes, and it kind of is, but you want the bruschetta, so you want to have enough over the chicken that it doesn't taste like chicken with just a little bit of something on top of it. Now this should only take you about 5 minutes or 10 minutes to do, and your glaze is already reducing right now, and that's the one thing that takes the most time. So I've got all these chopped up, so I'm going to put them in the bowl. Okay, now what we're going to do now is we're going to put the rest of our ingredients into our bruschetta. I did not say to use shallots in the recipe, but I'm going to do it for me because I like a little bit of a garlicky onion taste, and that's what shallots do. And I'm going to do the shallots the same way. I'm going to cut these in half like that, and I've already done this one. And I'm just going to make tiny little strips of this. Okay, I've done that. Now I'm going to take 2 pieces of garlic, 2 cloves of garlic. I'm going to get a dull knife, and I'm just going to pound it with my hand, and it crushes the garlic. And you just pound it. See how it just crushes the garlic, and the skin is real easy to move off. It should be anyways. So there we go. We're going to chop up these little garlics right here. With bruschetta, you want to use fresh ingredients. Fresh garlic cloves. Garlic's real inexpensive. It's like 59 cents a clove. This meal is still, even though it looks like it might be a little bit of expensive to make, I was able to make it and be in budget with our $5 Friday night dinners, so I think we're going to be good. Okay, so now I've got like a 1/4 cup of fresh basil. Please use fresh basil and not powdered stuff, because in a bruschetta you want everything to be nice and fresh. What you can do is you can get a live plant. They cost the same as the ones that's already chopped up for you, and then you can plant it in a potting soil, and then you will have fresh basil. Now we need a 1/4 cup of olive oil, a 1/4 cup of balsamic vinegar, and about a 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese. We're going to put a little pinch of salt and pepper in there, and we are going to mix it up. Now the reason why we're doing this now is because while we're cooking the chicken, this can sit there and marinate just like the chicken's marinating while we're doing this. And we're going to set this aside. We're going to come over here. We're going to turn on our stove, and we're going to put it on like medium high. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this spoon and I'm going to stir up this balsamic glaze to see how we're doing on it. It's starting to get thicker, but it's not getting as thick as I want to, as fast as I want it to. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn it up a little bit more. I might have turned it up a little bit too low. Turned it down a little bit too low. So there we go. So I'm just going to keep on letting that stir while that pan's heating. And I'm also going to put in some water, equal parts of water and milk into my pot. This is what we're going to cook the pasta in. And I am just going to put that on a low heat, just let it start warming up just a little bit, just so it'll make things go a little bit faster. Okay, the pan should be starting to get hot now. We're going to go over here and I'm going to test one little piece to make sure it's going to sizzle like I want it to sizzle. You want to hear that sizzle when you start cooking it. So now, this is my cooking tip of the day. It's red peppers, yellow peppers, orange peppers, green peppers. I'm going to show you a simple, easy way to cut these peppers. You take it from the green, right below the green, and you want to swirl it, and then you cut in. See how wonderful that is? I'm going to keep doing it until I get all the way around. So what I'm doing now is that I'm just chopping this pepper up, and we're going to put it in our salad. Now I bought a pre-made salad mix today. It has all those different greens and stuff in it. Now I'm only going to cut up this one because that will be more than enough for our salad. But I just wanted to show you how you cut up a pepper and not have to waste so much of it. So that's my tip of the day. I finished cutting up my pepper for the salad, so I'm going to check. See how it's a golden brown color? That's exactly how I want it to be. So I'm going to flip all these over. Now, since we're going to be putting this in the oven, I'm going to turn it off. It will continue cooking because the pan's hot. I am going to come up back over here, cut up my bread so I'll have it ready for dinner. I've got my bread knife. I'm going to just cut off a couple little chunks of bread. Now these baguettes, you can get at almost any grocery store, but they're only $1.29 at Lidl. Now I'm going to take the chicken out of the pan, and I'm going to put it on this parchment paper. And I learned this from a celebrity chef. Instead of messing up pan after pan after pan, if you take a dirty pan and you wipe it out, you can keep on using it. So that's what I'm going to do. We're going to put our bruschetta in here, and we're going to just let it cook for a minute. In a few minutes, we'll put the bruschetta on top of the chicken, put the cheese on it, stick it in the oven, and start our pasta. And our supper's almost made. And I'm going to just scoop one. This is a half a cup, so I'm scooping a half a cup on each one of these. Doesn't that look kind of yummy? Now the good thing is, if you have extra bruschetta left over, you just take whatever's left, you put it in the refrigerator, and you take the rest of your baguette a different day, and you sprinkle some, you put this on a baguette, a really toasted baguette, either put Parmesan cheese or put some mozzarella on it, and then make it as an appetizer for another day of the week. And I got a sliced log roll. They're like $2 and something at most grocery stores, like Lidl or Aldi. So I'm gonna, remember I preheated my oven earlier. I am going to put this in here for 10 minutes. If you remember earlier, I started warming up my milk and my water. And the reason why I did that is because we don't want to be in the kitchen all night. So I am going to turn this burner back on, and it won't take but a minute for it to boil because it's almost bubbling. And once it gets to a rolling boil, I'm going to put these in here. I think it says 5 minutes. Now I'm also using angel hair because angel hair cooks very fast. You can use penne if you don't like the thin spaghetti stuff like I do. I've got some tongs so I can fluff it up, the noodles with the cheese in it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put about a half a cup of Parmesan cheese in here, and It'll give it a nice Parmesan-y taste with the butter, the olive oil, and the water, and the pasta. Some of the pasta juice will be in there, so it makes it nice and creamy. I'm going to bring the pot over to the sink, and I am going to put the strainer in the sink, and I am going to drain off almost all of my milk and my water. You see how much is left? That much? We need to have some for the cheese to do its thing with. So I'm going to get my cheese. I'm going to put about a half a cup in there. I'm going to stir it around. And the starchy milk, water, and the pasta and the cheese will start forming a thicker sauce in just a few minutes. I'm going to get I got a piece of aluminum foil, and all I'm going to do is take that bread that I cut up, and I'm going to put it in the aluminum foil. If you want to put some butter on it, that's fine, but this bread tastes just fine without the butter. And I'm just going to keep it almost tinted up until there's just a little bit of room in there. That way the steam can come out. And I'm going to stick this in the oven with the chicken, and that way I can check on the chicken also. Folks, the chicken is almost done. I want the cheese to be a little bit brown, so I'm going to keep it in there just for a minute. Doesn't that look scrumptious? And I'm going to get my bread out. And I am going to plate the bruschetta on each one of these. And what you do is see this glaze, how wonderful it is now? You just pour it on top of the chicken like this. Come over here. Now you can see, just for it sitting a minute, how it's gotten all creamy and whatever, and it's not stuck to each other or anything. So what you do is you put some of this on your plate. Put a little bit more Parmesan cheese on top, a little sprinkle. You get your salad, and you got your dressing. So you have chicken bruschetta, a Parmesan noodles, and a wonderful salad with some dressing to eat for dinner tonight. And it's quick and easy. I hope you enjoy the meal, and I will be available to talk to you. Just do the little chat box, and I will chat right back to you and help you get this going if you have any questions. And always, you can always email me at danawills@wakeforestpres.com, org, and or you can give me a call, 919-605-2972. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.